behind you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Want to get
I'm
going?
gonna mute mine.
So Jeffrey and I already went over how the system works, so he knows how to mute and everything, so I'm not going to bother with that.
Okay.
And I'll just start with a snapshot of who we are. So let me just see if I can, I don't know if I can access the slide. Oh, did that change?
Yes.
Oh, it's working. Okay, why don't you give a quick bio, unless Jeffrey knows you really well. Maybe say a little bit about yourself, and then I will. And then I'm going to recap the last 2 sessions, and then I'll have you just launch in for the rest of the time.
Well, I think, Jeffrey, you and I have been connected on LinkedIn for sure for a long time. Couple years. You're muted, so I can't hear you.
5 or 6 years, I think, actually.
Yeah, quite a while. You're in Calgary, are you?
No, I'm now in Victoria, British Columbia.
Wow. You used to be in Calgary, though, didn't you?
I was for a while, a long time ago.
Yeah, that's when we first connected, I remember. So it's good to see your face. Up personal almost.
So is there anything you'd like to say about who you are that Jeffrey may not know?
Well, if Jeffrey's read my profile, you probably know as much as you want to know. Something you don't know about me probably is that I was born and raised on a ranch in southern Alberta, down at Milk River. And I used to break horses. And what is really astounding to me, and I have to pinch myself just about every day to realize that here I am, a rancher's daughter, used to live for horseback riding, now is a social media expert, just specializing with LinkedIn. Just never would have dreamed I would have ever gotten here, because I never grew up with social media. I never grew up with computers. In 1984, when I was first faced with a computer, I walked into my office where I was working as a secretary, and here was an Apple IIe sitting in the middle of my desk, and it was like a miniature monster. And I thought, oh my gosh, I had no idea how to turn the thing on. I had to sneak my 10-year-old son in after work at night to show me how to work the silly thing, because he'd been working on Apple IIes at school. His teacher had one in the back of his room, and when they finished their work, their reward was they got to spend time on the computer working on certain projects. So then when I was working in the senior care industry, I had to try and prove a point to my boss that they needed to be marketing online, because 73% of the time, this is their own research that they'd done, 73% of the time seniors made decisions, the kids were involved, which was usually the gals. And where are the gals at 10 o'clock in the morning when he wanted me to give a talk at a senior center? They were at work. So I started my podcast show and used LinkedIn to find people to interview for my show. And I called it Elder Care 911, and I became the Elder Care Specialist. So that just gives you a little bit of my background. And I just started using LinkedIn ever since May the 24th of 2009.
Wow. I just learned something new about you.
Well, in one day, here's what happened. In one day, I signed up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, set up my podcast website, and got my podcast system all set up.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And I was like, I felt for months, I felt like I was going to cry, because so full of trying to absorb everything. So when I started coaching, I started it as a result of going to networking meetings and seeing people sitting around these networking rooms and at these tables, and 60 to 70% of them had gray hair, or they were bald, or they used the tube like me. And I went, oh my gosh, they're just like me. 50 plus and still needing to bring in an income of some sort. And I went, oh my goodness. Well, I had figured out how to make money using LinkedIn. So I thought, well, you know what? I could start coaching people. And so my first coaching was $1 a minute, 20 minutes for $20.
Right on.
Yeah, that's what I did when I was with HLBN in Vancouver. I Outputs Business Network. So now you know something about me that I didn't tell anybody before.
What's great about that is, you know, to share my story briefly, we won't do a lot of detail. We just want to give a little background to get related. I started off similarly. I was in the publishing industry in Calgary in the oil and gas industry, and we were doing a very niche publication that went directly to the landmen and geologists. And during that time, we got a computer and had no idea how to use it. But then just because of trial and error, kind of learned a new language, really.
Wow.
And then learned all about traditional printing. And from there, I worked at a print shop and then moved up to the West Coast and ended up working at Douglas College. But I really learned all of that on the job. And, you know, and it was frustrating at first. I totally get it, Christine. And I think that's what I love about our webinars, or we're doing this for people to get, because we've been there, so we know what we had to go through to learn, right? But the other thing that I just wanted to say is, you know, when I did move out here, I loved it. We were from Bermuda when I was very little, and I felt like I was coming home as soon as I saw the ocean. And I got a job at Douglas College, and I was so grateful for that time. I was in the communications and marketing department, and while I was there, we actually rebranded the college. They've done another rebrand since, but it was great to see the impact of how that was in a large organization, and how, you know, it really took communication and teamwork to really roll it out effectively. And so I can't say enough about that experience. It was so awesome. And then I realized I really like producing things, and I love design and branding. And so I hung out the shingle, and about 15 or 16 years ago, and here I am doing branding and design and online things, and it's fun. So that's a little bit about me. And I'm curious to know, Jeffrey, what had you be here today? What was it about this webinar that you signed up or showed up?
It's really Christine Till's newsletters that she writes on LinkedIn, and I've never actually been around when the invitation has turned up. Even now, I can't stay the full amount, but I'm always thinking, wow, that sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good. And then it turned up in my email yesterday, and I went, okay, all right, I'm going to tweak on this one and see if I can do it. So I've got until 5 minutes to 4, and then I have to leave. But
well, that's plenty of time. We usually end about 10 to. So, and Christine, it's working.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. And again, this is so great. You're going to get us one-on-one. So I'm going to just start, Christine, if you don't mind, to just do a recap of the last couple of sessions, and then I'll have you just launch right into the LinkedIn stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so we've already gone through this one. Let me see here. Sorry, I just didn't click when I was supposed to. All right. So in session 1, we talked about branding. Oh, so how today will go is I'll just do a little recap, then Christine will launch into LinkedIn, and then we'll wrap probably long before 4, but there's lots of room for questions, because unless other people join as they said they would, you have us at your beck and call, Jeffrey. So
okay.
we talked about what a brand is, and really a brand is the essence of who you are, whether you're a one-person shop, or a big organization. And it's really the personality and the value system that makes everything tick. And the logo or the tagline, people often think, well, that's my brand, but it's really not. It's a representation of the brand. And what the logo and the the website and all of that is the branding process, which is truing everything up to the brand or the essence of who that organization is. So that's basically what this slide shows. And then we talked about the different social media platforms, and I mean, there's so many. This is just kind of the top few. And then we reviewed, you know, each one sort of has a specific niche of what they provide to people. And then we talked about how to choose the platform or the platforms that maybe would be right for your brand. So we reviewed a few questions. Let me see if I've got them here. And there were 3 key questions that we went over. So does the platform, sorry, I can't see the slide, serve your brand? Is it serving your brand? And how it would serve your brand is you can ask the 3 questions. Who is my ideal client? Where are they hanging out? And are they looking for something specific? Oh, hi, Lindsay. Welcome.
Hi. Hello. I had troubles getting the information. It was in my spam folder.
Oh, gotcha. There should be a panel either at the top or the bottom. If you can just click mute while and then we're going to allow questions at some point. So we're just getting started, so you haven't missed anything major, and the important stuff's coming with Christine anyway. So when you're looking at any kind of social media platform, I'll just recap for Lindsay. How you can see if it serves your brand is look for your ideal client. Where do they hang out? Do they hang out on LinkedIn? Do they hang out on Facebook? Both. So those are all things to consider. And are they looking for something specific? And if so, what would that be? And then you want to learn as much as you can about each platform that you're considering and what they're best used for, and then the best way to engage with your people. And of course, as always, I think there's always this running message, right, Christine, is keep it simple. Don't take on more than you can handle and more than I think that you would enjoy doing. So things to consider, it's a little windy here, so the lighting's changing. Can you handle, will you be handling the social media yourself? Are you going to have a team, or will you need to hire someone? And then another question you could ask is, if you are doing the bulk of the work, does it fit your schedule? Make sure that it does, because again, we're going to come back to this, but it's all about consistency and making sure that it fits your schedule. And then if you are hiring a team, can they deliver the message that you want? So again, bringing it back to the branding, like, what do you stand for? Is this delivering? Is this what you want to really say? And then, of course, can you stay consistent? And how can you stay consistent? And then we moved into, Christine then talked about some basics about networking and relationship building in both in-person and online. And Christine, do you want to just take it from here? Because the next few slides will just recap what you talked about very briefly last time, and then it'll go right into the groups. Does that work for you?
Well, we can just keep on. Yeah, people want to buy from who they know, like, and trust. It's all about everything we're doing. We're building relationships with everybody that we meet every waking minute of every day, whether it's online or whether it's in person. And most people, because we're just living our lives, they don't even think about what they're doing and how they're impacting other people and what kind of an impression they're leaving with other people. And once you start getting online, then it becomes really important how we behave online, how we make those connections, and who we're making them with. Are we reaching out to the people that we want to build those relationships of know, like, and trust? And the statistics are, if we're on doing advertising in a publication, print media, it has to be in there 17 consecutive times before people begin to take note and start to contact you. And that doesn't even mean necessarily you're going to get a sale right away. and the face-to-face statistics are 7 times. So the big secret to doing marketing with LinkedIn or any kind of online marketing is to build those relationships online, and then to take those relationships, move them offline to a face-to-face of some sort. Now, I've coached people all around the world, in Australia, New Zealand, Cyprus, Monaco, the UK, all across the United States and across Canada, using Zoom or Skype. And locally, if they're local, I'll meet them for coffee if they want to meet for coffee. But even locally now, people are wanting to meet using Zoom because we spend so much time driving here in Alberta. Everything's so far from everything. So we keep on working to build those relationships. And it's all networking. So if you think of LinkedIn as this great big room that's full of thousands, millions of networkers, that's how we need to think about all of what we're doing on LinkedIn. Here's the key thing. How are you going to follow up with them? and you're online, do you have an email database? What kinds of social media do you have? Do you have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn? Those kinds of things. And they all need to be worked together with a package, or in a package. So everything that we create needs to be let out. So we use a real headshot, a real picture. It doesn't leave gaps in our work. We don't leave gaps in our work history. So there has to be a way to see that everything is chronological on our experience and our education. Mention volunteer work is very important. And invite people to connect. But when you invite people to connect, you only invite people you know. Otherwise, you can get IDK'd, which means I don't know you. And you have 5 people say they don't know you, and you will have your profile sent to LinkedIn jail. Groups are the key. The whole key to LinkedIn is in the groups. And most people don't know that. Most LinkedIn experts don't even teach it. So what you want to do is you want to search groups to find your ideal client. So you need to think where your clients are coming from now. And always find people that you wish to know, and you want to send them a real, genuine message. It's not a pitch. You just avoid pitching, because it's all about them. It's not about me or about ourselves. It's about the people that we're connecting with.
So that's really a recap of what we did in the last 2 sessions. And I'm going to stop screen sharing now, because Christine, I think you're going to get us right online and go through
Right on.
the LinkedIn stuff.
You betcha. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so here we are on LinkedIn right now. Darn, I'm trying to save the last Zoom thing I did. Hope it doesn't interfere with us. So we'll just quickly run through the profile. We have 3 seconds to make a great first impression. 3 seconds. 1 second, headshot. 1 second, name. And that's all that goes there. One of the things I did when I signed up on all these platforms is I read the entire terms of use for LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. LinkedIn stipulates in their terms of use that you use a headshot only. It has to be of you, the person who owns that profile. It has to be your own headshot. It can't be husband and wife. Can't be your baby pictures. It can't be your pet or a car or your logo. It's got to be you. And here, only your name goes here. Nothing else. Not MBA, BA, nothing else. Just your name. And this is your headline. This is the 3rd second. And you put, so for instance, you've got 127 characters available here. So you can put in 13 to 15 words. I try to hit 13 because the research that's been done through the Authors Academies, it is proven that when you open a blog or anything that you write, you try to use that opening sentence, keep it at 13 words. That seems to be what grabs people's attention. So you want to think about how you're going to list your things in your headline. And got to look different than what other people do, and still let people know what it is you do and how you can help them. So I'm the marketing mentoress, LinkedIn trainer and speaker, LinkedIn expert, helping businesses unleash the power of LinkedIn. And you go in and you change this periodically. I just changed this again, I think last week. So because the search engines love that. And anytime you can go and do some little bits of editing on your profile, it's a good thing because it keeps the search engines finding you all the time. Once you pass that 3-second rule, and they're impressed with you enough to go check out the rest, they'll just skim through this, but they really won't pay that much attention to it. They'll go right down, they'll see, oh, you've got some posts. But what does she say in her summary? Oh, and I just edited my summary again this last week. Summaries need to be short, to the point, talk about who you are, what inspired you to do what you do, mix it in with a little bit of what you do and how you do it. So maybe not so much of the how, but what you do. People want it, it's all about building that know, like, and trust. They want to know about you. You can attach I've got some recordings that have been done that I've put up here, podcasts, and this is a PowerPoint presentation, Enhancing Your Personal Marketability, that I've done. So you can upload different things to your profile to help tell people about you. People are very visual and they need to see that. Now I want you to look at this little arrow, and we're going to go really quickly here. If you want to move your summary to some other area, you can move your entire summary by clicking right here. Here is where you can add media. Now I'm going to go down to experience. In my experience, I can move my experience, the whole thing, wherever I want it. Or if I want to move this particular experience, just this one section, I can move it to another area in my experience. Because what I want to do is I want to work on what shows up top. What shows up in this top area here. So in my experience, what do I want people to see? How do I want them to think of me? So you can rearrange your experience down below so that it shows the way you want it. And I'm going to skip right on down to, I've got my, where they do endorsements. So you can put as many as 50 different skills or expertise that you do. 50. And endorsements are a good thing. Even if people are endorsing you, they connect with you, and the next thing you see, there's a whole bunch of endorsements. For a long time, I thought that discredited anything for them to not even know you and be endorsing you. How can they do that without knowing you or have done business with you? But here's the thing. Other people who don't know you, when they are checking out your profile and they come in here and they see that you've got 50 type expertise listed and you've got 99 plus, because that's what, when you've got over 99 people that have endorsed you, it goes to 99 plus. And LinkedIn, it's above there somewhere, where LinkedIn cuts it off so they can't endorse you anymore. So you have to have 50 so that you have something there that people can endorse you for. It's really important. I received an award once in in Vancouver. I was invited by LinkedIn to come to a special convention or meeting. It was held down at the big Canada Place Center. And there were several hundred people that were personally invited by LinkedIn, and LinkedIn put this on. And at the end of LinkedIn, and I've been telling everybody and coaching everybody about how invalid endorsements were. And at the end of that meeting, all of a sudden there were my headshot on the big screens on each side of the stage. And I thought, oh my gosh, what's my picture doing up there? And they said, will Christine Till come up to the stage, please? We want to give you a special award for having the most endorsements of anyone in British Columbia. I went, okay, I guess endorsements are a good thing. So the most important thing, though, is your written recommendations. And the way that I've gotten my recommendations is by being proactive. I write recommendations for people first. And then what happens, they get this glowing recommendation and they go, oh, this is so cool. Then they want to write a recommendation back. So every time I've done business with somebody, I always write them a recommendation. There's always something great that I've learned from them, even if they're a client. And I can write something good about them. And it's heartfelt, it's short, to the point. And when people see written recommendations, they get, that's impressive to see lots of written recommendations. And then your group. The whole thing about LinkedIn is in the groups. Now, this is my group, Marketing Enthusiasts. Come join me. I will accept you in. We always have new posts coming up all the time. I blog a lot, so I put lots of posts in there. And there are other people that are blogging and putting posts in there as well. But you notice I'm in 69 groups. And I manage this group, and there's a couple of other groups that I manage as well. But you'll notice that most of my groups that I'm in have more than 10,000 members. This is the thing. When you join groups, you join the groups that you think will hold your most or your best customers. So for instance, if you're in a health and wellness business, you do not join all the health and wellness groups, because everybody in those groups is a health and wellness person, then they're all looking for the same client. And if there is the odd person that drifts in there that is looking for help, guess what? They're all going to get pounced on. They're going to get pounced on by all the health and wellness people. So you do not want to join the same groups as other people that are looking for the same clients you are. So, but that said, I join a lot of marketing groups. Even though I'm in marketing, I join, like you see, I'm in .net people, business masters, digital marketing, learning and education, LinkedIn strategies. These groups are huge, and there are people in these groups who are business owners who are looking for help in how to use LinkedIn. So my ideal clients would be sitting in these groups. That said, I've had people tell me, oh, should I connect with people who are in the same business I'm in? So for instance, if you're in one of these declutter businesses and there's a whole bunch of people that are in the same kind of business, by all means, connect with them. You want to see what they're doing. And if you're connected, they're not going to steal any of your stuff, because they can't, because you'll see that they've stolen it. That's how transparent it is being online. So you want to be connected to those people. When I worked in the senior care industry, whenever I put on a seniors fair, I invited all my competition to come and be in that seniors fair and to sit on the committee with me to help set up the seniors fairs, because I knew that if we would see, everybody would see what each other's doing, but nobody can steal each other's secrets because everybody knows what each other's doing, right? Isn't that cool? And a lot of business owners don't get that. And it's really important to get that. So I'm going to go into one of these groups. Let's pick a big one here. Let's do this, dm.digital marketing. Now you can search for groups. Before I go into any details, that LinkedIn, when you go into the groups area, LinkedIn lists all your groups, and they list your groups usually with the most active groups first. You can search your groups here under the interests tab, or you can search groups here in this little drop down menu. So if you're looking for, let's just do business owners. And look at all these groups of business owners. You don't want to join the ones with 45 members, because unless it's a group that's got for sure members that would be all your target audience. But there's some groups here that have over 10,000 members in them, which are really great business owner groups. And that's who I usually search for, is business owners or HR directors or the training departments of businesses. because that's my target audience. So you figure out where are your customers coming from? Who are your customers now? So you know exactly who they look like and whether they're business owners or whether they're in a certain kind of category of business. And then you'll know what to search for. And you can search right up here. It's really easy. So let's go back into the groups here. Oh, remember that you've got this little back arrow, and every time you do a search, if you do a search and you don't like that search and you just want to go back to where you were before, you just click that little back arrow. That's your best friend. So this is showing you by most active on this right side. So the ones that have the most active conversations going on in the groups. So this digital marketing one has 542 new conversations today, but they've got over 900,000 members, right? So with over 900,000 members, you've got a lot of conversations definitely going to be taking place. If you click on My Groups up here, that's going to show you the groups that the top above this is the bottom below this, groups I'm in is just groups I'm in. These groups I manage or own. So I own this group. I manage these other 3 groups. I'm helping somebody build this new group. It's got just under 400 members now. And this one has over 6,000. It's a group that I've been helping to build for about a year. And the Connect Me is a group of Lions, and I've been trying to help this guy get this group active again. But when LinkedIn put all the changes in and they stopped in-mails, you couldn't message anybody in the groups anymore. Then what happened is a lot of the groups just died because nobody could message other people in those groups anymore. So unless the groups had like over 10,000 or more members in them, this one only has 1,700 members. So it's really struggling.
Christine?
Yes?
Do you know why they did that?
Yes, I do. Number one, there are 2 reasons. Number one, because of that, the reason LinkedIn had that automatic messaging in the groups where you could message people directly without being connected to them, the reason they did that is because it's very rude to start turning a conversation in a discussion thread that's as a result of a blog that's been posted in the group. And you start asking questions of the person that posted that are, more private. You shouldn't really carry on in a discussion thread because you're not talking about the blog. You want to ask them some questions about them and what they do. You have to be able to have a way to move that out of the discussion thread into a different platform. And so they had that in-mail there so that you could message these people directly and just say, hey, I'd like to move this discussion off to a private discussion because I didn't think it'd be right to talk about this in the discussion thread, which makes perfect sense, right? But what happened is there were a lot of companies out there that had software engineers that were developing products that would go into the groups and mine the groups continually, sending them messages through this free in-mail system. They had little algorithms that they would compile that would allow them to go and search for certain categories of people. So they would get customers that would pay them money to go in and basically spam the groups. So people were getting really upset with this spamming that was going on. It was huge, absolutely huge. So LinkedIn just shut it down. Now, here's the second reason why they shut it down. Because there are over 400 million people on LinkedIn. Only 18% of those people are on a paid platform. Here we are, all these hundreds of thousands of people using LinkedIn for free. They have thousands of people that are their employees to keep this running. And in order to keep this running somewhere, sometime, somebody's got to pay the piper. So they have had to figure out a way to be able to get more people on the paid platforms. And I admit I am now on a paid platform because I need to send way more in-mails a month. And I've sent so many in-mails out this month already, I only have 1 left. Now, that said, everybody on the free platform gets 15 free in-mails a month. So you can send messages through the groups directly to people. So I'm just going to take this digital marketing group. And when you get into this group, you hover your mouse over the members. See how it turns blue? And if you click on the members, then you'll get all the members listed. And you can gradually go through and see all the 950,000, 60,000 people that are there. But the thing is, to go through all those 900,000 people is totally overwhelming. So what you do is you figure out who your ideal client is and how you want to search for that ideal client. What would be the keywords? In other words, think of the keywords. What would be the keywords that people would search for if they were looking for you? Right?
For me, probably, it's interesting because it's a couple of things, probably web design or logo design or something about design.
Okay, so who are the people that would be searching for web design or logo design?
That's a good question. I would say either a new business or someone who's rebranding, or they've had like they're a company that's been around a while and they've got, they've sort of got a track record, and now they're like, oh, our stuff looks like crap, and is this really saying what we want? So
Right.
it could be an established company,
Right.
maybe like an industrial something or other in the middle of nowhere that they're quietly getting known, but nobody knows. They don't have the image to back it up, sort of
Right.
thing. I don't know if there's a specific industry, but
okay, so here's what you do. You click on this little advanced. Okay. Click on this here, this little word advanced.
yeah.
And a new search screen comes up. And so let's say we're going to search for a business owner. And then we won't put any names or anything in there. We'll just go to location, located in or near, and we'll put Canada. And then you can select any areas here if you want. But I go up here and I click on group members. And now we were looking for we're working for the digital marketing group, over 900,000 people. So let's say we want to look for a specific location. So let's go for Vancouver. Vancouver, Canada area. And we'll just
realize I probably should have let Lindsay participate in this because she's a participant. Anyway.
It's recorded as well. So then you click on this little search button. 55 business owners are in that group of over 900,000 people in Vancouver area. This is in the Vancouver area. So now you've only got 55 people to search through to find to start building a relationship with. Now you've got to think about it. How are you going to approach these people? This is a networking meeting. So when you're at a networking meeting, do you just go to that networking meeting and go up and just shove your business card in everybody's face? Or do you go up and stick out your hand and say, hi, I'm Christine Till. What's your name? Oh, what do you do? Tell me more about what you do. You get the conversation onto them. And that's what you do here as well. You do it just like you would do it in real life. You reach out. You're sticking your hand out to say hi and introduce yourself. And then they will eventually ask you about you. But first you want to ask about them. And what happens so often is when I start to reach out to people on LinkedIn, I do that. I stick my hand out and say hello and tell me about what inspired you to start doing software engineering. And they come back to me and they say, Oh, thank you for asking that question. And then they send me this 2-page expose of copy. I'm going, oh, goodness. And it's all about pitching their stuff. And if you buy today, you get it for this price. And if you buy it by Friday, and it's just too much pitching. And it just makes you want to run away and delete the message, right? So I've always been very cognizant of how do I want to be approached? How would I feel if somebody did that to me? So I want people to feel like I'm genuinely interested in them. I want to find out as much as I can. And I always talk about how can we collaborate? Are there some ways I noticed that so we'll take Lucia right now, and we'll check out her profile. She's an independent business owner at Secret Direct. She's in Port Moody. Let's see a little bit about her, what she do. I'm passionate about helping others achieve success and financial freedom. And Secret, it's a minerals from the Dead Sea. So it's minerals. So she's in a network marketing organization. That's okay. I work with a lot of different network marketing people, and they have great products. But they all go on and they pitch to you. And so I've been really working hard to help them be able to learn how to reach out and introduce themselves and get the conversation rolling. And so I would reach out to her and say, what inspired you to get involved with Secret? And then she would come by and tell me. And then I would come back and ask her another question. So tell me about how the products have been developed. What kind of science is behind the products? And then she'll come back and tell me. And if after a while, she'll start feeling guilty. And she'll say, so tell me more about you. I'd like to know more about what you do. And so then I'll tell her, I'm the LinkedIn marketing mentoress. I specialize with LinkedIn, helping businesses unleash the true power of LinkedIn. And then what happens is they'll say, oh, how can you help me? I've just fed them with getting them to talk about themselves, and then they turn around and ask me. And that's usually how it works. And so I get people from all around the world. Did I tell you where all the countries I've coached in?
You did, but say it again.
Australia, New Zealand, Cyprus, Monaco, the UK, across the United States, and across Canada. In fact, I've got a client I've been working on for the last couple of months from Toronto right now.
That's the 5-minute warning, Christine.
Okay. So we'll ask questions when I'm finished here. Okay, so I'm just going to plow right through. I want to make sure that I cover. So you can also download your connections. So if you go into your network and go into your connections, go ahead and download your connections. I wanted to quickly touch on this because a lot of people have no idea about this. So you download your connections. Oh, where's the gear wheel? I think I covered it up with the pictures here. There we are. So you go into this little gear wheel, and then in the top right, it says Export LinkedIn Connections. So you click on this, Export LinkedIn Connections, and you click on this little arrow, and you can export your connections to Microsoft Outlook, Outlook Express, Yahoo, Mac, vCard. A lot of people use Microsoft Outlook and Outlook Express and Yahoo Mail. Not as many use them. Well, I guess people who have Macs can use that. And then what you can do, because you can no longer send bulk messages out to your groups. You used to be able to send out 50 messages at a time. You can still do that, but you cannot turn off uncheck a little box that turns off the ability of everybody in that message to see each other's emails. So then when somebody responds from that to you from that distribution list, everybody in the distribution list sees the response, and you can't stop it. So you cannot send those mass messages out anymore. And the way that you get around that is you download all your connections to a CSV file of some sort. Then once you get them into that file, then you take them and put them gradually enter them into your MailChimp. And offer them something free, like an ebook or a video that you've done that's closed, that you don't allow to be public on YouTube, that they can have for free when they sign up for your newsletter. Then they have to double opt in. And once they're double opted in, then you can send them messages through your newsletter. So you can build your database, gradually build your database. That is one of the keys that we need to maximize our marketing online. We all need to build a database. That said, because I have over 7,300 connections, I have been able to fill rooms just using LinkedIn and sending messages out to individuals that I have searched for using my InMail. But now that we're limited with our InMail, I can't do that anymore. So I've had to build my own database. So that's one. And number two, you can save 3 advanced searches. So when you do these advanced searches, you can save them. So this advanced search that we did for business owners, I could save that search right up here. And you can save up to 3 on the free platform. And you can, and just a minute here. Then on your mobile, you need to have your LinkedIn synchronized with your computer LinkedIn, so that when you go into your personal profile, I'll show you what the app looks like here. And I don't know if you can see it. Can you see is it too much light on it?
It's too small. I think once you stop screen sharing, maybe that'll work because you'll be bigger on the
Can you
screen.
see it now?
Not really.
Close from low power mode. There, you can see it. See that little LinkedIn icon?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like, and that's what you need to get on your iPhone. And then you get into that icon, and you make sure that when you click on the Me button, there's 5 little icons once you open that up, down across the bottom of the page, of the window. And the right one says Me, and click on that, and that should show you your headshot. And you can scroll down and see what other people are going to see when they check out your profile on their mobile device. So you may have to go in and do some more editing on your computer to get your profile to show up on your mobile device the way you want it to show up. So I wanted to give you that special tip. Then you can search your connections. I already talked about that. Get your LinkedIn mobile strategy in order. I did that. Take control of your skills section. Did that. Capitalize on. Okay, who's viewed my profile? This is really important. You can check it here. You can go into who's viewed your profile right here. And you can check and see viewers. I've got viewers with the title business owner. This is one of my searches that I've got saved on LinkedIn. I have 78 viewers of my profile. And I've been gradually working this. I had more than that, actually, and I was sending out messages. I'm down to 1 InMail left. So I'll be out of, I've used all my free ones and my paid ones for this month already. So you can also, when you go into these, you click on this, and you can see what industries they're from, and you can see who they were. And you can see if you're connected to them. If you know them, you can invite them to connect with you. And you can see all those people. Isn't that cool? And then you can also see who's viewed your posts. And I strongly recommend that you start posting and write blogs. And see, 36 people have viewed my LinkedIn tip that I just put up just a couple of days ago. And then I did this blog post. 10 people viewed that. This blog post, 12 people. See how you can check them out? See how many people are liking and sharing and all that kind of stuff. But this who's viewed your profile is huge. Another way that you can check out your who's viewed your profile is here on right here where it says profile views. Whoops. I clicked too fast. See, 23 people in the last 3 days. So you can click on that and you can check your profile views right there. It takes you right back to here. Okay.
Oh, woohoo. So time for questions. I have a couple actually. So
Okay.
if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and then we can give it over to the people that are on right now. For the summary, you said it should be short. What's the maximum number? Like 300 words?
You can have up to 2,200 characters on there.
Right. And what do you recommend?
Don't go 2,200 characters.
Yeah.
Because people don't read anymore. I'm going to go into my profile here and I'll show you.
Okay.
It's you can have something really beautiful written up there, but people are busy now and they don't have a lot of time to read a lot of stuff. One of the biggest paragraphs I've got is down at the bottom where I've got all my specialties listed. And do you know why you list your specialties at the bottom of your summary? It's for the search engines. So it goes keyword, pardon me, I've got the hiccups. Keyword, comma, keyword, comma, keyword, comma, keyword, comma. And then at the bottom, you put your hashtags.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
you don't put your hashtags anywhere else on your profile. It's very unprofessional on LinkedIn. Hashtags are for Twitter. But you want to maximize what the search engines are finding and where they're finding it. So you want to connect your LinkedIn profile with your Twitter.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And my second question was for the endorsements. I notice people sometimes endorse me for things I don't do. Is it easy to remove a category? Or is it worth it? Should I just leave it there? Like, what do you think?
I look at all the categories, and like I have had so many people endorse me for things that I sort of vaguely do. If it's something I absolutely don't do, like web development, websites, I don't. There's a little, if you hover over the word, there's a little X shows up at the end of the word. You can click on that X and it will delete that word from the list.
Okay, great. And I'm gonna hand it over to anyone else who may have a question, and I'll go back on mute. Does anybody have a question? Lindsay or Larry? I can't. You have a question, Lindsay? No. You're gonna 1 second. All right, we'll wait. And then Christine, I just wanted to I guess we'll wait till you're done your part. I just wanted to put up the thank you slide and then the quote. I have a new quote for today.
Sure, that's great. I'm just going to stop sharing.
Okay, I'm going to check the chat. Oh no, that's just my message to everyone. Okay, I guess no questions. So thank you all those who participated who are still on and who have now left and will be on the recording. Any last words, Christine, before we sign off?
There are 5 reasons why you need to be using LinkedIn. Number 1, the average age of people on LinkedIn is 43 years. Number 2, the average income of people on LinkedIn is 120 to 125,000. Number 3, LinkedIn is the most professional platform online, bar none. It's the best. And number 4, everybody on LinkedIn is there to do business. Mm-hmm. Number 5, the whole secret to LinkedIn is in the groups.
Great. And what are we going to be talking about next time, or is it going to be a surprise?
Next time, I've got a bunch more secrets to share that I've uncovered about LinkedIn.
Okay.
So we can do LinkedIn stuff. We can also talk about Facebook and Twitter a little bit if you want.
Sure. Okay. Well, we'll work that out. If if either you, Lindsay, or you, Larry, have anything that you'd like to have us talk about, as always, please send us an email. Oh, here, I'll just see if I can go back a slide. There's our information. It's also on our 2csuccess.com, which I think I should put on this slide next time.
Yeah, that's
The
a good idea.
website. But there's our, when my phone number's changed. I just moved in March and things I forget to do. Anyway, and then we'd like to leave you with a quote by Maya Angelou, which I love and is so, she said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that just really goes back to all of the stuff we've been saying about networking and branding and how we're presenting ourselves out there. So just thank you for participating, and it's been really fun.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Christine's.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Christine squared.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, I'm going to end the meeting.
Okay.